Here's the number one thing that I notice when successful or wealthy people email me. And if you are someone that struggles with your emails and you can never get to the end of it, you don't really check it, you have multiple inboxes, I think you're going to appreciate this video because I think I started this 4 years ago, where I stopped wanting to make excuses for why I was so irresponsible. And I saw something online once that said, you have to no, you have to untangle the love and connection you have with your most chaotic self because it's not cute anymore. Like chaos isn't cute at a certain level. And I think there was a part of this, like, I'm so chaotic. Like sometimes we romanticize our flaws as a way of avoiding facing them and improving them. And I think my inbox was a place where things were just really scattered. And if you're a solopreneur, like I was a solopreneur for 14 years. So I understand how tough it is to manage things on your own. And even if you have contractors or vendors, a lot of it still goes through you and falls on your shoulders. So, first, story time. There was maybe this was 8 years ago. I was emailing someone really powerful. I won't say their name, but to this day, they are multimillionaire, very successful, very well known. Yeah, millions of followers. And yeah, there was a something that, we had to communicate about. And for me, I was like, okay, you know, my virtual faux tie. I felt like I had to come so correct, and that this was like, oh my gosh, what a connection, and oh, what an honor to even be emailing someone of this stature. It's like I still wasn't. I think my network and my association was mostly peers, and we were all on the come up. We were all kind of like struggling together, which is also cool when you all kind of make it together. And I think of women like Joe Franco, who has done so many incredible things and now has a show with National Geographic. And yeah, you just it's really cool to like come up together. So at that time, we were still nobodies. So no one was really checking for us. So this email, I'm like trying to do my best to come across as professional and respectful and grateful for the honor of communicating with someone so important. And the response, you would think there was like a 7-year-old playing on an iPad that typed the response back with the amount of typos, the lack of punctuation, no grammar, no spelling, no spell check. And it was like two sentences, but there were no periods, but just like two phrases, all lowercase. And I was like, are they mad at me? What is this? And so again, I was like, okay, they had a bad day, clearly, because who emails like that? Who, with so much money and so much power and so much fame, who sends emails like this? Like, have you no dignity? I'm thinking. And so I respond back and I'm like, okay, I'll try again. I'll be even more professional to make up for their lack of professionalism. And we have maybe like three exchanges each. And by the end of the exchange, they were consistent in how they communicated. And that's when I realized someone with that much, I don't know, money, power, stature, you don't have to anymore. You you don't have to. You simply don't have to. Those of us who are still building, we have to punctuate. We have to spell check. We have to come correct. And that was the first time I recognized, oh, there's levels. Because you could never catch me sending an email like that. And yeah, I was like, okay, not only is that kind of a power move and kind of a flex, But imagine how much more efficient their inbox is because they don't BS with pleasantries and roundabout. Like it's one word answers, direct like questions, get what you, there's no needing to fluff the cake. You can just say what you need. Here's what the email is for. Can you get it? Do you have it? Like, what do you want? It's, and I was like, okay, this is how things work. And yeah, I was turned off by it. I'm not gonna lie, turned off by it a little bit, but I also kind of respected it because I didn't, at that point, I had never communicated with someone that powerful. So it, I wanted to still learn from it. So I had to put my ego aside. That was feeling like butthurt, like I wasn't important and they didn't communicate at the level that I rose to. And then another powerful person comes along, maybe like a year later, and it happens again. And they have a little bit better grammar, but no punctuation, no capitalization, no sentence case, just streams of thoughts and ideas and just make sense of it. Do what you want with it. And again, I was like, this this is so unprofessional. And then it happened again. And then by the fifth person and the fifth time, I was like, there's something I don't know because clearly, how are they all operating like this? And then I started to recognize, I kind of cross-referenced that sometimes you think the bigger the company or the bigger the brand, you're working with a Fortune 500 company, you're working with, I'm not going to name any of them because I do appreciate that I've had incredible brand partnerships in the past and they have funded many years of my life and income. And so I don't want to disrespect any of them. But I also realized that not the communication, the organization as well with some of the top companies was also like kind of a little off. And so this perception that you have of like powerful companies, powerful people, like high net worth companies, high net worth individuals, how they should come across in email. You have a perception and it's completely different from reality. And I had to recognize that I'm just, at the time, I was just a measly travel influencer. They're working with me on this little digital campaign and they're sending me to Japan. Thank you. And yeah, like at the end of the day, I am like bottom of funnel. Like I'm not even in the system. So there's a desire to save time more than there is to save face. And when I realized everything is about time and people and organizations that value their time don't care how they come across because they don't want to waste more time. So when you think about your inbox and it being at 30,000 unread emails, I'm sure most of it is subscriptions, but sometimes you'll open something and you're like, ooh, yeah, this deserves a quality response, or I'm going to think about this and I'm going to get back to them. And then each day that passes, the response gets bigger in your head and you start to create a mountain out of a mole. And one of the things I had to realize is that if it takes me less than 2 minutes to respond, I will respond. I will respond. And now I have an amazing contractor, Amani. So she takes care of some billing, accounting, admin. I have my accounting team. So like all of that stuff is already delegated. But the everyday stuff, the sometimes the fan mail, the pitches, the just speaking engagements, they might send it to me, but I'll send it off to like Amani. And it's just nice to like have that support now. But yeah, well, I was like, okay, I have to get better at this. And I was the kind of person that overspoke and over-explained in my emails, whether out of fear that I would be misunderstood or making sure that I put all the details so that there would be no questions. And I overwhelmed them with information, which also caused a little bit of a drift in communication because you can't give too much away. Like let people ask qualifying and follow-up questions. And I had to learn that that was also not a tactic, but a skill. So, um, when I started recognizing that I don't need to spend as much time in my emails and I don't have to type dissertations, it was a breakthrough moment for me. And it led into what I now call Inbox Zero, this weekly ritual, if you want to call it, because I blast music. I have this playlist called What Living Feels Like. And I just blast that music in the background. And it's some of my favorite tunes to just jam to and just feel on fire for life. And yeah, so I try to clear out my inbox every single week. And I think the biggest thing is if you can respond to something within 2 minutes, do it. So let's get into some of the tactical just things that you can do to just manage your inbox better and not lose out on opportunities. When I tell you the amount of, especially if you're a content creator, there's probably tens of thousands of dollars sitting in your email and you don't even know it. Every time I've opened an email and I looked, they were like, yeah, well, we can pay you 20K. And they'll be like, but you must respond by Friday. And it's 2 months later. And I'm like, good Lord, embarrassing. Like, it, embarrassing and disgusting. Like, how much money is actually sitting in your inbox if you were just um, more organized? Okay, so lesson one. A cluttered inbox clutters your creativity. And I also feel like your inbox is like a mirror. So if your inbox is cluttered, your life is probably cluttered, your creativity doesn't have room to breathe. So how many emails do you even own? And is it time to like sunset a few of them? I think at the most, because I had so many different domains and there was like packages that came with free emails, I think at the most I had like 14 emails. And then now I think I'm down to six between all the companies and the businesses. So yeah, that feels pretty manageable. And one thing I try to do first when I'm trying to get to inbox zero is I unsubscribe with no guilt. Obviously, we subscribe to a lot of things, or we get, I don't know, somehow we end up on people's newsletters from maybe that one random download that you did 3 years ago, or because you purchased perfume at that shop that one time. This is why I try not to give my emails out when I buy things when I'm shopping in person. But yeah, I just do, if you look at a glance at the most recent email they sent, and if you don't resonate with the subject or you skim the email and it's just like, it's bluff, just unsubscribe. And now Google has something where you can do like mass unsubscribes. If you just click on, there's something at the top where, yeah, I think it literally just says unsubscribe. So Google now makes it so much easier because some people have systems where you have to click, you have to manage your preferences, you have to uncheck the specific funnels that you don't want to be subscribed to, and then you have to confirm, and then you get an email asking for confirmation of your confirming. Oof, it'd be, it's a scam. And then also remember there was a time where I think at some point I had read enough emails where I missed opportunities and I was so upset. So I think I had maybe 900 emails left to go. And I just marked all as read and archived them because I was like, I don't want to see more of this. I'm just going to feel worse about myself. So I'm just going to archive it and just start from scratch. Anything that needs to be followed up, if it's important enough, they will follow up. And that's also a lesson for you if you were the person that pitched. If something is important enough, it is important that you follow up. And they say, what's the quote? The fortune is in the follow up. So make sure if you're pitching something or working with someone or doing something that involves someone else, that you're sending more than one email. And I would say give it 3 to 5 days apart. I think people are getting better at not following up the next day because that's obnoxious. Okay. And then second thing or second lesson is all you need is 1 hour. I used to think that like I needed to incessantly, incessantly. Oof, what is vocabulary? Incessantly. It's a hard one. I used to think I needed to always check or always be available. And yeah, I'm now that I think about it, I I have zero notifications. I haven't had my email notifications on for 5 years. And my phone is perpetually on do not disturb. I think the only person that can like get through my do not disturb block is Stefan. And that's all that matters. Everyone else can wait. And when I have dedicated time, when I'm done with whatever I'm doing, I can check. My phone does not dictate or direct my life. I go to it when I need it. And I think that's so important to have those boundaries. So there's a tool called SaneBox and another one called Boomerang. Now, both of them have a free tier, but I believe I pay for both just because that's how worth it they are. So first one is Boomerang. It's connected to Google, and basically what it does is it sends an email back to the top of your inbox if it's important, but you don't have the capacity to respond to it yet, and you don't want to look at it in your inbox. Like you want it to feel like inbox zero, but you know that you need to respond to it by tomorrow. So it'll boomerang and come back and ping to your inbox in the morning. And that is such a beautiful way to declutter like your inbox and not feel like you have all these people staring at you waiting for a response. That gave me so much anxiety. I used to feel like I was constantly disappointing people because I wasn't responding fast enough. And I had to like really, my goodness, I had to really, yeah, there was some tough years where I wouldn't check my inbox for weeks at a time because that's how much anxiety it gave me. And I knew I was missing out on stuff, opportunities, um, even client emails, like communicating with your clients. We had a platform outside of email, but still there might be the odd question here and there that they want to email directly. And so just the immense guilt and then the guilt from having the guilt, it was just blah. And then something called SaneBox, which I learned about maybe 2 years ago. And it's pretty cool. So my inbox, my primary one, doesn't have a promotions and social folder. I think Google like automatically gives you that, but you can turn it off. So mine just everything goes to either the main inbox or spam. And what SaneBox does is it literally it's in the title. It keeps you sane. It keeps your inbox sane. So anything that doesn't feel important, meaning if it's not from like a personalized email or it's not something that you have subscribed to in terms of like shipping, like getting the tracking number for your shipping or getting a confirmation code to be able to log into Netflix on the TV, like those go to primary. But anything else, newsletters, random updates, just it all goes to SaneBox. And what's nice is that you know that okay, there could be 20 emails in SaneBox, but they're not important. They're like level 3. All the level 1 hits your main inbox, and you could be filtering probably 90% so that you're only getting the top 10% of what you actually need. And if you don't get that much, or I'll say you're only getting the top 1%. Like if you have a really massive inbox and you've signed up for a lot of things over the years. And try to create 2 different times of the day where you like batch check. So if people are typically emailing you in the morning and afternoon, then you want to create a habit to where you check for 20 minutes in the afternoon, 20 minutes at night, and like let that be it. Do not open your inbox every idle chance you get. Do not check it constantly in between tasks. Do not even have it open in the background. When I'm not checking my email, I minimize the entire screen so that I can't see it. So it's in the dock and I don't even have the dock up. So I like to not see that there's even a new email if I'm not in my block to be checking emails. And yeah, creating folders. So beyond SaneBox, I hired someone like 4 years ago to like come into my email and just tell me how to structure it. Like what makes sense in terms of like, so she first had me write down all the type of inbound emails I get. And so I said, okay, Here is one for like speaking engagements. Here's one for flight itineraries. Here's something for brand deals and negotiations. Here's something for clients. Here's something for newsletters. Here's something from subscriptions. Here's something from, and it came out to 24 things, that like 24 categories of things that I get emails for. So from those categories, we tried to like box it into like um sections. So like taxes and accounting, like that was a category. So all finance was funneled there. And it made things so much easier because I can immediately allocate it and then go back to that specific folder when I needed something from there. And also using the stars and the, it's like it's like a label system, but there's a yellow star. You have to activate this in the settings on Google, Gmail. But I have a yellow star, a red star, and a green star. So green star is anything that's like, this is a go ahead. They need your signature, contract is ready to sign. Like that thread and that conversation will always be like prioritized because it's a green star. You can also mark emails and mark certain people as important, and that will always that'll train your Gmail to always put them in your main inbox. So that's really important. And yeah, something that I'm also realizing, and yeah, this is, I guess, going into lesson 3, is like the systems do support you, and putting systems in place so that you're not trying to manage everything on your own. And if you feel like, okay, well, Glow, I've got 3,000 emails and I know they're all work and a lot of it is important, you have to allow yourself, like, what's the compromise here? Do you never want to experience what an inbox zero feels like? Or do you want to, yeah, and then with that, you risk missing out on something, or do you want to try to tackle it a little bit each day, but you come out to like net zero? Because even if you unsubscribe or check 30 emails, you might get 35 emails that day. And so it feels like you're not making progress. So try to, when you're going through the inbox, do not read. Like you might see something like, oh, let me this newsletter. Oh, let me check this out. Have a newsletter folder if you think it's really important, but do not read anything while you are filtering. Sorry, I'm yelling at y'all. Don't read anything while you're filtering because it blocks the process. And the whole point of inbox zero is filtering first. All you're really doing is filtering your communication and allowing like, okay, this is, and what also helped is I created an email for just newsletters. So when I got to a point where I was like, I love newsletters. There are some like Austin Kleon and what's his name? Gosh, he's a brilliant marketer. Harry Dry. There are some emails that I love, newsletters that I love. And I also know that it doesn't match the energy that I bring into my inbox. So I don't like to read email newsletters when I'm dealing with business stuff. So I created a separate email. It's literally newsletters at, and it's nice because I know that that is just to connect with the people that I've subscribed to. And it just allows me to have a different energy when I log in there. And they might pile up and I'll be like on a train or in a taxi and I'll be like, oh, let me read a newsletter. So it's like a great way to enjoy at your own time. So mark is read, put it in the trash and move on. Yeah. And as you're recognizing that, yeah, having a clear and empty inbox adds so much to your piece, also know that you can do a better job in how you respond, keeping it to the point, being more concise, being more clear. If you have roundabout thoughts, because hello, we're ADHD, say it to yourself and then take it off the take it off the screen. If there's further context needed, they will ask for it. But we tend to, as ADHD people, over explain everything and it's actually not needed. So even if it means you type your email and you bring it to ChatGPT and say, shorten this for me, or take out the fluff, make this as minimal as possible. And I'm someone that I like my brand voice. I like my voice. I like the way, not how I sound, but I like the way that I write. ChatGPT will never replace how I write and how I come across. So you can, if you want, have ChatGPT help you with minimizing your emails, but I like how I'm I'm always exclamation. I always have oh, exclamatory. Oh, English language. I will say this. Here's my cop out. I'm learning my fifth language, and I promise you, every time you learn a new language, your primary one suffers. The time I realized this, I was like, this is the compromise that I'm ready to make. Because your brain is like, it's creating new patterns and wires and neuroplasticity, and but your brain is gonna suffer for a little bit. So that's why I take big gaps in between my lessons because I like to get back to, focusing on English. But yeah, being here, we're in Bosnia. I haven't spoken, did I speak Bosnian today? Yeah, a few words. I would say probably spoke 10 words total today. So that's not bad. But yeah, when I'm in Thailand and Indonesia, I'm having full conversations. And sorry, Indonesia, I'm having full conversations. Thai, conversational in certain contexts, the salon and the restaurant. But yeah, so it just does a number on you. So I am trying to get better at compartmentalizing languages. So that's my excuse. Okay, yeah, that was all. Inbox zero, y'all. This is a part of the creative reset. So if you love this, there are 89 more task assignment tools and advice that I shared that you could take over the next 90 days. Go to mycreativereset.com. And thanks for joining today. I will see y'all tomorrow.